Ernesto had spent most of his life in a small workshop, repairing doors, smoothing wood, and earning just enough to keep going. To everyone around him, he was simply Ernesto the Carpenter. But there was one thing nobody knew. Every night, after long hours of work, Ernesto would sing alone, believing no one would ever hear his voice. When America's Got Talent auditions opened, his friends pushed him to try. Nervous but determined, Ernesto stepped onto the big stage for the very first time. He held his cap tightly, hands trembling, as the judges looked at him, unsure of what to expect from a quiet carpenter. Simon Cowell asked him, "So, what made you come here today?" Ernesto smiled softly, "I just want to show that even ordinary people can dream." As the music began, the crowd went silent. The moment Ernesto sang his first note, everything changed. His voice was raw, emotional, filled with years of struggle and hope. By the time he reached the final chorus, people were wiping their eyes. The judges were stunned. Ernesto wasn't just a carpenter, he was a star waiting to be found. Ernesto's audition went online overnight, and within hours, millions had watched his emotional performance. Comments poured in from all over the world. People felt his sincerity, his pain, and his passion. Social media hailed him as the carpenter with the golden voice. Back at home, Ernesto returned to his workshop and found it transformed. Fans waited outside, wanting photos, handshakes, and just a moment to thank him. Ernesto was overwhelmed. For the first time in his life, he felt seen. Behind the scenes, the AGT team replayed his audition again and again. Simon Cowell even called it one of the most meaningful performances of the season. Producers reached out, preparing Ernesto for the next round. But with the sudden fame came pressure. Ernesto worried, could he deliver again? Could he live up to the moment that touched millions? That night, he practiced non-stop, singing until his voice shook. Ernesto wasn't chasing fame, he wanted to prove to himself that his audition wasn't a fluke. With the next performance approaching, he knew one thing. If the world was watching, he wasn't going to let them down. The arena was packed for the next round. When Ernesto walked onto the stage, the crowd erupted in applause, everyone knew who he was now. But Ernesto stood there quietly, breathing deeply, reminding himself of the carpenter he used to be. The lights dimmed. A single spotlight hit him. The music began, slow, emotional, powerful. This time, Ernesto chose a song that told his own story. As he sang about struggle, sacrifice, and holding on to dreams, the audience felt every word. His voice cracked at the perfect moments, raw with real emotion. Even the judges leaned forward, hanging on to each note. Halfway through the performance, the camera captured Simon Cowell's face. He wasn't just impressed, he was moved. When Ernesto hit the final note, the arena exploded in cheers. People stood. They clapped. Some cried. Heidi covered her mouth. Sophia wiped tears. Even Simon stood up. "Ernesto," Simon said, "you don't sing songs, you live them." It wasn't just a performance, it was a moment. By the time Ernesto reached the semifinals, he was no longer just a contestant, he had become a symbol of hope. News channels featured his story. Fans sent letters saying his courage inspired them to chase their own dreams. Little kids began calling him Master Ernesto, the singing carpenter. Though the pressure grew, Ernesto stayed humble. He still helped neighbors fix broken doors and cabinets between rehearsals. Fame hadn't changed him, it had simply revealed who he always was. When the semifinal night arrived, Ernesto took a deep breath and walked onto the stage. Feeling a mixture of nervousness and gratitude. The world was watching. His family sat in the front row, hands trembling with pride. Ernesto sang like he never had before. It wasn't just his voice, it was his heart. Every lyric carried his journey from the workshop to the world stage. When he finished, the judges gave him one of the longest standing ovations of the season. Simon leaned forward and said, "Ernesto, whether you win this competition or not, your life has already changed forever." And he was right. Ernesto came to AGT as a carpenter. Now, he was becoming a legend.